All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I've posted a video. And you know what happens is life just kind of comes and goes and you got to go with it. And I decided to take a bit of a hiatus, but we are out here today on the beautiful Red Deer River. I'm here with Linden, and we've just put in just north of the Penhold Bridge. And we're going to be dangling this section of the river up to Fort Normandeau today. And it's a very overcast day. We've had a solid week or two of solid searing temperatures. And today we're out here and we've actually just hooked on up to a pike that we're keeping in the water here. We're gonna let this guy go, but man, look at this beauty of a fish. That's a good that's a good healthy fish, man. If we were eating today.
We're eating good.
Hey? Not a bad little fish. This one's absolutely beautiful. The coloring on it is incredible. The leopard print on the tail is just beautiful. He's got no marks. He hasn't been fighting anybody, and he's just a beautiful fish. And that's our first fish of the day. Into the drink he goes. All right, guys, so we're gonna do a little bit of paddling. Linden is our camera guy today, so this will also be the first video we've ever done where we actually have
a camera guy.
A camera guy. So we'll see how it goes, but here we are. Welcome to Blindman Outdoors. I'm Dave, and I've been exploring my whole life, from my hometown in the Blindman River Valley to the jungles of South America. 4 years ago, I left an old life behind to chase a passion full-time. Now, I built Canada's Yucca Pac Camper and the Alberta Outdoor Adventure Expo, all while continuing to explore and experience the great outdoors. You see, I believe we're called to live free and be wild, and if you do too, then this is the place for you. George Eliot said that adventure is not outside of man, but within. And in this case, in my case, the adventure within got to be pretty chaotic, and I did have to take some time to step away and just to regroup. And being out here on the Red Deer River with my friend Linden, fishing for some pike, really made me realize that I needed to take that time and focus on some things in my life outside of business that needed my attention. All right, guys, so as I said, we are floating here on the Red Deer River. We're actually just now, what we've done is we've actually pulled into a small eddy, which is basically you've got the river running along behind us here, going north to south. And then what we've done is we've actually just pulled in where the current comes and kind of veers off to the slower water. What we've kind of done is we've kind of hijacked that current on our kayaks, and we're just letting it kind of pull us around in this little eddy. So you can kind of see Linden there is behind me, and what we're doing is in like about a minute to a minute and a half, I'll actually be where Linden is, and Linden will be somewhere over here where I am, and we're just kind of fishing that outer seam where the two water speeds change, and we're just fishing along there. And that's actually where we pulled that beautiful pike. Beautiful pike out. Not substantially large, but we are running some light gear today. I've actually picked myself up a new Daiwa. This is the Laguna series, so a full carbon fiber rod, and I'm running, of course, the Daiwa 2000 series on it. Linden's chucking an ugly stick over there that he's rather fond of. And so yeah, so that's what we're doing, guys. So we're just going to do a brief day on the water, talk about some things that have been going on, and you know, let me move the camera clean. You know, talk about some of the things that have been going on behind the scenes at blindmanoverland.com, and yeah, just catch up a little bit because it's been a minute. It's been a minute, guys. But we're gonna tour around here for a little bit longer and see if we can't hook up, and then if we can't, we'll see you guys in the next stop.
Sweet.
Hit that GoPro.
First fish on the boat today. Oh, nice. And it come off my hook. They always spit it out. Beauty little goldeye.
Alright guys, there we go. That's a goldeye. If you've never seen a goldeye before, you can tell it's a goldeye because of those beautiful golden eyes. Now, it is a very scaly fish. You can eat them, but we're not going to be eating this guy today. We're going to let this guy go. Man, these things are really fun to catch. You know, they're not, they don't have a ton of fight into them. We're just trying to revive this guy. He's probably ready to kick off any moment now. Well, you gave you guys another look at this guy before we give him a good old send-off. But you can see right there. Beautiful fish. There he goes. And there he goes. Yeah, I'm gonna go back out and just do that seam again.
Go up
and
to
I'm probably gonna check the map and see where we are for time.
We're about a third of the way.
Yeah, so we gotta put some miles down. So we might even just do that because there's also gonna be a bunch of holes we're gonna want to stop and fish on the way. And if we waste all of our time here, it's gonna be dark before we get back. So
nothing necessarily wrong with that.
no, not necessarily, but you know, try to get as much of that beautiful light as we can.
Fair enough.
Guys, we have been running into some challenges at the shop. Parts are taking longer for us to get than we want. Building's taking longer than we want it to. And so we have actually started to consider moving our manufacturing. Now, that doesn't mean moving it out of Canada. Hopefully that'll never happen. Although if Justin Trudeau continues to have his way, there might not be any choice for us small business owners other than to immigrate to get to America. Anyway, yeah, so we've been kind of behind the 8 ball and trying to build and put in processes and systems that are going to allow us to better take on demand. And so that means that if we can basically contract out some more of the manufacturing to the point where we're simply ordering campers and getting them out on the floor, that would be the ideal way to do this. One, it allows us to manage QC a lot better. Two, it really helps to ensure that our lead times go down longer than up. For those of you that have the Yucca Pac Campers who got them this summer and who are currently waiting, we love you guys. We appreciate your business so much. Just know that we are doing everything in our power to make these things go a lot easier. Another piece of information that you guys might not know yet is that unfortunately we got some pretty bad news in regards to Zeus. Zeus is my dog. If you're one of the few people that have stopped by here that aren't subscribed, or I guess that's probably the majority of people, really. Zeus is my dog. He's been my best friend for going on 13 years now. And up until recently, he didn't have a single health issue, really. And I took him in for a doctor's appointment because I had found some blood in his urine. And it got progressively worse. And they did one of those doctor picture things with the fancy sciences. And it turns out that Zeus has an extremely aggressive cancer going on in his bowels. And so he's really struggling to poop. He's not able to empty his bladder entirely. Doctor seems to think he's in a great deal of discomfort and not long for this world. And so I'm in a moral predicament because I don't want my dog to suffer. I love him a great deal. But he doesn't seem like he's ready to die. You know, like if anybody knows Zeus, he's a very happy-go-lucky dog. And he's still very much that way. He his age seems to be catching up. I mean, it does seem like, I'm not saying like I expect another 5 years out of him, but
the way he acts, you would think he's still got.
That's right. Yeah, the way he acts makes you think that he should have at least a few months left in him. And I don't know if this is a thing, but like he hasn't given me any signs that he's not wanting to be around anymore. Like it's too much for him. But the doctor is like it's got to be too much for him. So he's on some pretty aggressive medications right now, and I'm sort of more or less being led to interpret the doctor's information as, you know, take him out, have a good time with him, and then bring him in. But I can't. I'm in a weird. I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet. I don't know if he's ready to do that, and we can't speak the same fucking language, so it's really difficult to figure that out. So yeah, there's been a lot going on the back end, and I'm just dealing, you know. And I've been on YouTube now for 4 or 5 years, probably. Relatively consistent with posts. I don't think I've had a month since I've started where I haven't put at least a video out. But now it's been like 4 months. So yeah, the truck's also out of commission right now. Front suspension, we're going to be working on that a little bit later today, trying to get that sorted out, and we'll go from there. But we just pulled off into this little area because I chucked the lure into the tree and I wanted it back. And so that's what we've done. So now we've had to restring a line. We're going to continue going on. We've got what, maybe another hour and a half left on the water?
Oh hell, we got like 4 or 5.
We got a long time. So we better get going. That's gonna be a really good shot.
There's an intro for you. Yeah, Blindman Outdoors. We just paddle and transit from fishing hole to fishing hole. Unfortunately, it's super shallow here. Sketchy stuff. You motherfucker. Oh. Get the net out here. Another goldeye. What is with these guys are like barely biting the hook because every single time. Yeah, come on, bud. Let me get my hook out of here first. And they're not even taking the hook. Come here, bud. Very nice. The other beauty of a goldeye.
Oh yeah, it's a beauty day. That is a right-of-way marker, and essentially what that means is that underneath the ground here and underneath the river there's a natural resource line. So we've actually got several markers up there, so it looks like there's probably 2 or 3 pipelines going through there. And when you're out wheeling and you come across these areas, it's kind of like when you bust out through the trees and all of a sudden there's like a perfectly cut line all the way through the mountains. That's called a right-of-way. And you gotta be super careful when you're going through there. There's lots of pipelines. Some of them are exposed, some of them are above ground for sections, some of them are below ground for sections. And depending on who and when they were put in, they're not always as deep as people think. And you know, there's just things to be mindful, especially around those. So if you ever see that, give them another look at that over there. If you ever see a section with a big sign and some posts and pipes coming out of it, that's telling you that's a right of way. So
3 species day. This is what we've been looking for all day. Nice, beautiful Walter. Oh, yes. Super stoked on that. Super, super stoked on that. Oh, yeah, nice hook set too. Yeah, he like fucking got that good.
Ah, you got the swingly jigglers on it. Oh boy.
Beauty.
Awesome. Oh, that thing's beautiful, man.
Come on, kick.
Nice little release, yeah.
Oh, is he going right back for it?
Here's your net, buddy.
Thanks. Sorry.
Oh, you're good, man. Congrats. That's 3 species today.
Oh man, I'm stoked.
All right, guys, we are back at it, back in the office, and got Zeus with us. There's a lot of blood in his urine. Every time he's peeing, he's leaking blood. You can actually look all over the floor here. All these drops are drops from Zeus. And when he's trying to poop, he's straining very, very, very hard to poop. So his mind is clear. Everything else is good, with exception to that. So he's got a big mass in his colon, in his bowels. That mass is constricting his urethra, and so he's not able to evacuate his bladder entirely, and he's not able to poop entirely because that mass is putting pressure on both the urethra and his sphincter. So I'm in this weird spot where I have to put it. For his own sake, he has to be put down. But I don't know when to do that because the doctors are inclined to do it sooner than later. And I have friends that are saying the same thing, like, hey man, like take him out for a good weekend, take him out fishing, let him sit in the sun, have a good time with him, and then, you know, take him in on a Monday and just let him leave on a high note. And there's been a lot. So there's just been a lot going on this summer, and I've been doing everything I can to keep things on the straight and narrow. And one of the things that had to kind of go was the content creation. It took some time. I hope you guys appreciate it. And for the record, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be still making content. Things are going to change up a little bit. Jason and I from Overland, Alberta are kind of talking about some creative ideas that we might have to kind of bring more value to the outdoor community, specifically in Western Canada, on more of a current events kind of situation where we can give real-time updates as to what's going on in our backcountry, things to consider. And that kind of leads us into the fact that the forest fires in Jasper have been on top of mind for everybody. It's all over YouTube. Every thumbnail's talking about it. And I'm not going to give you guys any sort of political answers to who's at fault and why things didn't get happen and why things didn't get helped out sooner or whatever. What I will tell you is that we live in a boreal forest, and a boreal forest has to burn in order for it to grow. And there are an insane amount of areas that we manage with controlled burns early, so that if a fire does take hold, it doesn't run rampant. And unfortunately, what's happened is that our resources available to us at a provincial and federal level that help us manage those things just aren't up to par. So what's happening is that there are places that should have had a controlled burn that don't have that aren't getting a controlled burn for whatever reason. And then once a fire does start, there's just too much fuel, and they just get out of control. Now, I don't know what the circumstances are with the Jasper fire. I don't know if it was intentionally set. I don't know if it was set from lightning strike. I heard, this is hearsay, I heard that there's potential that a bear had gotten caught in an electric fence, and that was enough for it to spark up a fire. it's possible. With the tinder boxes that we have up here, it does not take a lot to start a fire. So it is incredibly important that if you're wheeling and it's dry, make sure you're not casting sparks, make sure your exhaust isn't too hot, make sure your vehicle's not sitting in a grassy area, running, keep it cool, douse your fires completely, use propane fire if you can, use things that don't have fuel, and do your best to mitigate it, because it can happen so darn fast, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in Jasper. We effectively lost an entire area of half the summer, and it's a very high trafficked area. It is a national park, and it is absolutely tragic what's occurred there. So to everybody who's affected by the Jasper wildfires, my sympathies go out to you. You guys lost a lot, and I'm so sorry. It's a tragedy. We need a serious overhaul of the resources that we have available. We need more fish and wildlife officers. We need more fire mitigation. We need to be able to do better, more effective controlled burns, and work on in technologies that help mitigate this stuff. I've done a tiny little bit of work with forest fires before, and there's some really cool tech out there and some really good opportunities for people if they just cut the red tape, stop the bureaucracy, and just let us manage our resources appropriately. So that's all I'm going to say about that, guys. We're back at it now. As you guys can see, we're kind of in a new shop. I don't know if I've shown you guys the new shop yet, but we did move again. We're in a new office. Things are going off as best as they can with the amount of orders that we've got and the amount of time we have to complete them. So for those of you that have ordered a Yucca Pac camper, again, thank you for your support. Thank you for your business. We are not the world's biggest manufacturer of campers, but I do like to think that we are one of the best. The quality that we work on is really good, and we will work with every single one of our customers from beginning to end to make sure that the experience is as good as it can be. So if you guys want to learn more, head on over to www.blindmanoverland.com. If you guys want to learn more about the Alberta Outdoor Adventure Expo, which is this September long weekend, so in 30 days from now, at the end of the month, we're hosting that at the Medicine Lodge Rodeo Grounds. We've got classes, we've got special guests, we've got fireside talks. We're giving away a rooftop tent, like a legitimate full-on rooftop tent. It's worth about $2,000. Tickets are only about $80 per person. So if you guys want a chance to win a rooftop tent and have a really good time hanging out with other people that love the great outdoors up in northern Alberta, head on over to www.AOAExpo.com. Until then, guys, live free, be wild, and I will be getting better at posting content for those of you that are still sticking around and who have been going through the library of over 100 videos that we have on YouTube. Lots of cool content on there. Feel free to check that out. But we are going to be getting close to going back to a regular content posting schedule as soon as and as best as I can. So, live free, be wild, and we'll see you guys in the next one.